Welcome to a world where we fight to the finish, and at the heart of it is one recognizable image. Originators, titans of business, brand architects, respected since 9/7. Sky's the limit, and legend behind the logo.
Welcome to another episode of MMA Talk Canada. Here with a special episode with UFC 165. It goes down September 22nd at the Air Canada Centre. Me and Saad are actually going to this card. I cannot wait. Actually, September 21st, sorry. Cannot wait to go to this card. Pretty stacked from top to bottom. We got John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson in the main event, and then Renan Barão and Eddie Wineland as the co-main event for the interim bantamweight title. So overall, pretty good card. We got some Canadians. I got my boy Ricci, my boy McDessie fighting on the preliminary card. That's gonna be a couple great fights. Saad, what are your thoughts on this fight, on this whole card, top to bottom? It's not bad for the Canadian crowd.
Well, I personally like the whole card. I've heard some criticism that it's kind of top-heavy in the sense that the main card is very good, filled with exceptional names, whereas the undercard does not have the name value that you're seeing in some other cards. But you know what? That's a subjective criticism, to be honest. I really think the card's amazing. Like, obviously, as you mentioned, Mike Ricci's fighting. I'm a really big fan of his, especially seeing him on The Ultimate Fighter. You got Ivan Menjivar. You got Chris Comance, who's an awesome Canadian fighter. He's going up against Wonderboy, Stephen Thompson. You got Mitch Gagnon fighting. You have McDessie. Jesse Ronson, who just came in as a late replacement for, I think it was Mike Bocek, who just got hurt. And, he's making his Octagon debut, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him fighting. He's a local fighter. Roland Delorme versus Bruce Leroy. Like, they're good fighters. They're not the biggest name, but they're known. Like, if people follow MMA, they'll know these fighters. And the people that don't, they will soon know who these people are. They're great fighters, and they're going to be exciting fights.
Exactly, yeah. I'm really looking forward to Ricci's fight and McDessie's fight. I have them both winning. Great preliminary card. So we're going to get started off with the first fight on the main card, actually. We got Pat Healy versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib is at 20-0, unbeaten. Had some pretty big wins. Thiago Tavares, Gleison Tibau. I thought it was kind of controversial. I thought Tibau won that, but a win is a win. And then we have Pat Healy, unbeaten in the last 7. His win over Jim Miller just got overturned for a banned substance in a drug test, but he still won the fight. He controlled Jim Miller, and I kind of see if Pat Healy can get Khabib to the ground, I kind of see him maybe getting a submission in the second round. That's how I think. If Pat Healy wins, he'll get it done on the ground submission. Khabib, great fighter, well-rounded. Face some very good competition, but I just think Pat Healy is going to get the edge here and get the submission win. Saad, how do you see this fight going down?
I think you couldn't be more wrong. It's just not possible that Khabib is going to be taken down. First of all, I was going to start off, by doing a little introduction. Great fight. You got an up-and-comer versus a guy who's very well-rounded, has been in the game a long time and really trying to prove that his last one was no fluke. But you know what? You struck a nerve. Khabib is an excellent Sambo champion. Excellent. That's what he does. That's his best game. He showed that in the Gleison Tibau fight. So, although a lot of people thought maybe Tibau won it, but you know what? Khabib was more active in that fight. That's why he got the nod. You can agree to disagree, but at the same time, he proved in the Abel Trujillo fight that he is an amazing wrestler. He's constantly going to put the pressure on you. And at the same time, he's also known that he can throw leather when he knocked out Thiago Tavares. But you know what? I agree with you that Healy has the edge in experience. But one thing that you're not mentioning is that Healy probably has the edge when it comes to striking. Mainly because Khabib hasn't been doing it as long as Healy has when it comes to the striking game. And you know what? When it comes to grappling, I would actually give the edge to Khabib. Even though Healy's a huge lightweight, I really think that the way Khabib hits switches and comes in at different angles, just that Sambo background really helps him a lot. And you know what? The fact is, the thing with Khabib Nurmagomedov is, 20-0, up-and-coming fighter. He really has been improving really in front of our eyes. Being undefeated is a really tough thing to do in the sport. And you know what? Every time he gets better. So even if he loses, I think it'll still be a learning experience. It won't push him too farther back in the pecking order. But this is definitely going to be an excellent way to start the card. And I really think that Khabib's going to pull it all and finally break into that top 10.
Awesome. Good prediction there. Second fight in the main card, we got Costa Philippou versus Francis Carmon. Great style matchup here, but I just think that Francis Carmon is in over his head here. Costa Philippou obviously just beating Tim Boetsch. Costa Philippou being top, I'd say top 5 middleweight in the division. I see Costa beating Carmon any way he wants here. I have Costa winning a second round KO. I just think Costa's obviously had way tougher competition, and he just has a bigger skill set and a bigger. He just can win it anywhere he wants, pretty much, in my opinion. Saad, I'm assuming you see this fight going the same way, right?
Yeah, I would agree with your assessment on this particular fight. I'm glad that we agree on something. But yeah, the main point of this fight is really does Costa have it against a high-level wrestler? I think that's what the UFC matchmakers are hoping. And then on the flip side, just Carmon have the ability to go with somebody that won't be taken down so easily and that has amazing boxing pedigree. So the only issue I see with Costa is that he's actually had a long way off with injuries and not being able to find the right opponent, like other top middleweights have been booked. So he's been, been on the shelf for a while. Carmon, on the other hand, has a snoozer of performances in the last 2 fights. The Monsoon fight and the Lawler fight. So he's really looking to make a statement and say, you know what, I'm not a boring grappler that just wants to push you against the cage, try and get a takedown. If I can't get it, I'm just going to hold you. Because really nobody wants to see that shit. People do like to see exciting grappling. Don't get me wrong, I love grappling. I love the jiu-jitsu. I love all of that. But there's a point where you're just holding a guy against a cage and you're not really advancing your position. And the referee should break you up. And you know what? Carmon has been really the epitome of that lately in his last couple of fights. And it's unfortunate because you know what, when he came in the UFC, training with George St. Pierre at TriStar in Montreal, there was a lot of high hopes for him. But you know what? I really think that he's really reached his peak. I'm not sure if he's developed so much in his striking game as much as Costa has. Costa obviously being an experienced boxer and at the same time being a strong middleweight. So he won't be pushed around or bullied by Carmon, as Carmon has with his previous opposition. He's been able to really use his strength. But you know what, Costa, I think, is one of the strongest middleweights they have on the roster. So he won't be bullied like that. I really think that he'll be able to box him out. So I'm picking Costa.
Awesome. That's a great fight. I'm actually, that's probably one of the most the best one I'm looking forward to on the main card. So the third fight, we have 2 top 10 competitors, Brendan Schaub versus Meathead Mitrione. This is a great fight because they're buddies, but they're ready to go to war in this fight. 2 heavy hitters, but in the past we have seen Brendan Schaub's chin a little suspect. And he played evidence in the fight with LeVar Johnson. He knew that LeVar Johnson hit hard, so he took him down, and he just pretty much took him down the whole 3 rounds, controlled him on the ground. I don't think he might do that to Matt Mitrione, maybe hold up against the cage a little bit. But I do see Brendan Schaub getting the decision win here. I think he's just going to be able to tie him up a little bit. Meathead won't be able to get the big strikes fired off. And Schaub will just be able to control a little bit and get a decision win here. But again, great fight. I don't think it's going to be fight of the night just because, like I said, Schaub's probably going to play it safe here and get the win. But hopefully it's a good one here. Saad, how do you see this fight going down here?
I'm really worried about, what you just said. Like, that's obviously a huge thing right there, the fact that this could be another big snoozer fight for Schaub. Like, I think maybe he was taking notes in the last Carmon fight, but maybe he could be doing the same thing. But you know what, that's an easy way to, if you keep putting on those kind of performances, and even if you end up winning a lot of them and end up losing, you can still get cut because nobody wants to see that. People definitely want to see you fight. But Schaub said, last time I went out, then I really wanted to take him down because I really wanted to make sure I win so I don't get cut. Okay, that's understandable. In some cases, depending on your perspective. But I really hope he doesn't do that here. But at the same time, his chin has suspect. So, does he really want to get knocked out by Mitrione? Because Mitrione throws heavy leather, and although Mitrione has been knocked out, he was knocked out by Roy Nelson. And really, who hasn't,
Yeah.
A lot of people have been knocked out by Roy Nelson. So he's just a monster with that overhead right. I can't really put a knock on Mitrione, because he's also shown that he can throw it as well as take it. But Schaub has been shown that, he can get hit and once he does, he's lights out. The Rothwell fight shows that, and also the Nogueira fight. You know, but those are really top names. Those guys are top 10 guys, or like top 15. You know what I mean? And Brendan Schaub and Matt Mitrione are also top 15 guys. They're trying to break it back into the top 10, and, you know, they haven't had the performances that they used to, or the performances that they're looking for. But at the same time, I think that Schaub can only play it safe for so long. Like, Mitrione is a really tough, strong guy, and I really think that he's going to be able to prevent the takedowns. Maybe he might get taken down once or twice, but I think he'll be able to create enough distance off the cage to get a KO win. So I'm going to pick them ahead.
Awesome. That's a great fight. I'm a fan of both fighters. Hopefully we don't get a snooze fest here. Hopefully we get a good fight here. But nonetheless, looking forward to it. Next fight, we have the co-main event for the interim bantamweight title. We have Renan Barão versus Eddie Wineland. Renan Barão being the interim champ at the moment. Eddie Wineland beating Brad Pickett in his last fight, and then Scott Jorgensen to get 2 wins in a row. That earned him the title shot. And this fight was originally set for the Winnipeg card, so I'm glad we're getting another Canadian cities getting this fight. I see Renan Barão winning this fight. Renan Barão unbeaten in his last 30 fights. Big wins. That's all I could say for this guy. Very well-rounded, great on the ground, great striking, excellent striking. Probably one of the best in the division, actually. I don't see anybody beating him and standing up. And very improved takedown defense. We saw in the fight with my boy Uriah Faber that Faber was not able to take Renan Barão down. I see Renan Barão really winning this fight wherever. Eddie Wineland is a good striker, though. I will give him that, but I don't see him matching up with Barão in the feet. I see Renan Barão stopping this fight, generally, or maybe the second or third round, but I definitely see Renan Barão stopping this fight and winning this fight in decisive fashion. Saad, how do you see this fight going down? Hopefully a good knockout or submission.
Well, yeah, hopefully, but you know what? The thing with Eddie Wineland is he's notoriously hard to finish. You know, in his whole UFC tenure, he hasn't been finished, and all of his losses have been by unanimous decision to both the team Alpha Male members, Joseph Benavidez and Uriah Faber. So I don't think he'll be finished, per se. It could happen. You know, Barão has shown that he's able to finish. You know, he definitely has the ability, because, you know what, he's extremely well-rounded with his striking, his grappling, everything. It's championship level. Like, he should be the champion right now. I think that he would actually beat Cruz once Cruz comes back from the injury, especially the fact that he has an injury. You know what I mean? He's going to be coming back from a long layoff. I think Cruz has a disadvantage, and Barão will win it, but even the healthy Cruz, I really think that Barão would take it. Just his skill set is just through the roof. You know, his conditioning, his takedown defense, the Nova União guys, they're amazing. That's what they're known for. So Wineland really won't be able to take him down. Definitely, Wineland is primarily a striker anyway, but he's going to want to keep it on the feet and at a distance so he can use his jab and, you know, his 1-2. That's what Wineland's going to look for. But you know what? This fight is actually very similar to the main event. That Barão is really shoulders above his competition at this weight class. There's only a few guys that I think could test it. Uriah Faber, you know, Dominic Cruz once he comes back. Maybe McDonald maybe in a year or two. He's really shown it, you know, finishing Brad Pickett in his last fight. Barão is really that good. He does everything so well, and I really think he's going to, you know, keep a hold on to his interim title. You know, it's underrated, but that's what it is. Soon, hopefully, it'll be the real thing when he actually faces Cruz, and this should be the last defense.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Barão.
I expect this one to be a great fight. You know, Wineland and Barão, they're both going to come and bang, and it's going to be a great fight for the Canadian crowd. All right, so the main event now. John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson for the 205-pound championship of the world for UFC. John Jones, you know, the big 84.5-inch reach. Alexander Gustafsson, he's got a 76.5-inch reach, I believe. They're both the same height. I don't know why people are comparing Gustafsson to be like Jones' reach and all that, because Jones has still got like the 8-inch reach advantage. But I do see John Jones winning this fight again, like he always does, besides the Matt Hamill fight, which he won anyways. I see John Jones being able to take Gustafsson down at any time he wants. I think Jones will, you know, keep it on the feet for a little bit, just test Gustafsson's skills, and then he'll, you know, take his takedown, let him back up, and then just repeat it over and over again. I don't see Bones Jones finishing Gustafsson. I see it going to another decision, like a couple of John Jones' fights. But I hope it's a good one. I hope Gustafsson can stuffed a couple of takedowns. He's broken Phil Davis. But like I said, I just don't see it happening. I see Jon Jones winning this fight wherever he wants, on the feet, on the ground. But either way, Jon Jones, I believe he's going to win a unanimous decision here. Saad, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Well, just a comment. I think that this is a great main event, mainly because we get to see Jones again. He's the sport's pound-for-pound best. And he's arguably going against his stiffest competition. The one issue is that, like, as you mentioned, the promo around this fight has been the respective sizes of both Jones and Gusty. You know, that they're both 6'4", Gustafsson being 6'5", their reach. But the one thing I do want to correct you is that Gustafsson actually mentioned during the pre-fight, media call?
Yep.
Yeah, that his reach is actually not 76 inches. That was misreported. Like, his reach is actually grown. He's more around 81.2 inches.
Oh, wow.
Which would actually bring him closer on line with Jones. 84 and a half is, I think, Jones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's about a 3-inch difference still. But you know what? That's better than 8 inches. So it shows that, you know, it's not too big of a difference. And you know what? They're both long, rangy fighters. Jones uses his range way better. He's probably the best in the sport at using his range. Gustafsson tends to get hit more, but at the same time, he tends to box more, whereas Jones is more of a kickboxer. You know what I mean? Using more of his kicks, especially that kick to the knee that he loves using. It really could do some damage. But I really think that despite their respective sizes, they do have completely different styles. And Jones is just a better all-around fighter. That's not to take away from Gustafsson. He's an amazing athlete, but Jones, there's a reason why he's the best. And you know what? He can really take the fight any way he wanted. The fight is going to stay standing because Jones wants to keep it standing, or the fight will go to the ground because Jones wants to take it to the ground. We all forget that Jones is an amazing wrestler. Like, he could take Gustafsson down at will. Like when Jones fought Leo Machida. Machida won the first round, yes, because he got that punch in. The second round, Jones is like, okay, I'm just going to take him down. Takes him down, opens up with an elbow, and then submits him.
Mm-hmm.
I think a very similar thing is going to play out here with those elbows that Jones throws. I think that's going to be a deciding factor, as well as the takedowns. I think he's going to use that, because why keep a range with somebody that can keep a range with you? You know, I think that's going to be his smartest strategy. And you know what? He's shown that he game plans very well. Coming from that Greg Johnson camp, that's what they do. They know how to game plan for a particular opponent, and I know that that's what Jon Jones has done. Part of me thinks that maybe he, you know, overlooking the fact that, you know what, Gustafsson does use his range very well, but I think he's studied him so well that he knows exactly what he's going to do come Saturday night. And I'm thinking that Jones retains his belt for record-destroying 6 consecutive title defense of the light heavyweight belt, finally passing Tito Ortiz in the dust.
Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a great fight, great style matchup. Where I'm just pumped for this card. Me and Saad are obviously going to be there at the fights at the Air Canada Center. Saad, anything you want to close out about the card? Anything about you want to talk about the prelims, anything like that? Or is anything about the card you want to talk about?
Well, I'm excited in general for the card. It's going to be an epic night. I actually have some decent seats, so I'm happy. You know, I'll be able to actually see the fights, which is great. But yeah, I can run down the preliminary card if you want.
Yeah, of course.
Just
Go
like
ahead.
Who's going to win. In the first fight, I don't know too much about the two competitors, but I'm going to pick Guillermo. Roland Delorme versus Alex Caceres. I'm going to pick Bruce Leroy Caceres because I really like him.
Yeah.
I like his style. Jesse Ronson, I'm going to pick him.
Mm-hmm.
John McDessie, I'm going to pick him as well. Mitch Gagnon versus Dustin Kimura, I'm going to pick Kimura. Chris Clements versus Stephen Thompson. Although I like Thompson, I'm going to pick Clements mainly because, you know, Canadian guy, and he follows me on Twitter, which I think is awesome. Ivan Menjor, I'm going to pick him as well.
Yep.
You know, Wilson Reed's coming in as a short replacement for Kei Yamamoto. Mike Ricci over Miles Fury Jury. That's a tough one. I'm going to lean towards Jury mainly because I'm actually going to lean towards Ricci because he's Canadian. Although I think Jury has faced tougher competition. But I'm going to think Ricci's going to be able to pull out an upset here. Yeah,
I'm on that preliminary card. I'm really looking forward to John McDessie and Mike Ricci fight. This would be my third time seeing John McDessie fight in person. And then it'd be my first time seeing Ricci fight. I'm a huge fan of Mike Ricci, an Ultimate Fighter. Him and Josh Hill were the 2 Canadians in the season. I really enjoyed seeing some Canadians on Tough. But yeah, just looking really forward to those 2 fights. Looking forward to going to the fights. Going to go to me and Sally, going to the weigh-ins and Q&A. It's going to be a great time. So looking forward to this weekend. Guys, catch it on pay-per-view, and in Canada it's on the Sportsnet. US, I'm not sure if it's on Fuel or Fox Sports 1, but just check your local listings, and I'm sure you'll find them. So when you guys are looking for the best UFC MMA predictions, come over to the MMA Talk Canada. See you later, guys.